Wireless. Oh, I'm live now. Aloha, this is Martina Wing, live from Hawaii, talking about Manta Rays. It's Wednesday, 11 a.m. And yeah, I'm back here talking about my true passion, the Manta Rays. Of course, I have two Manta Rays for you just in case. You know, we always have abundance of Manta Rays here along the Kona coast. And thanks for being here. I always like to share my knowledge and my imagery that we accumulated over so many years on Wednesdays. And yeah, let's dive right into this. Where are we? We're in Hawaii. We're on the Big Island. This is where I live. I live here in Kailua, Kona. And I dive with the Manta Rays for about 19 years. I either dive with them and film them. That's the biggest part I've done all these years. I snorkel guide. I dive master. I educate about them. This is just my thing. And Dara is back. Super. 11 o'clock. You know what to do. Thanks for being here. And yeah, so all these years, and what is happening here on this island, we have an incredible population of Manta Rays that have learned to come to dive sites where people do night dives. And with the night dives, we accumulate plankton by the lights, and then the Manta Rays show up in abundance. Well, sometimes one, sometimes more. But we have these two dive sites that I regularly talk about, the airport location in Keaho. And if there's something you want to explore more, check out the other Facebook Lives we have. Now, today I want to talk about something that is called the healing powers of Manta Rays. And I have two really cool examples, two Manta Rays, where you can see how they went through injuries, and man-made injuries in this case too, and then how they actually were able to heal themselves, and what's the time frame in these for the injuries for the Manta Rays to recover. And for that, I prepared a few things for you. I'm going to switch the camera around, so flip the camera so you can see better. And let me do this real quick, and then I keep talking. Here we go. The healing powers of Manta Rays. Now, I'm going to switch back one time in between these video clips I'm going to show you, because I also have props on the other end. But so bear with me that I'm going to switch over 2 times today. But let's dive right into it and talk first about Manta Ray, and then later on I talk about Hans Ray. And let's go. That's the next slide, is this one. And this is the video clip. This is normal swimming behavior. I want to establish first how Manta Rays look like when they swim, or how they behave. When they come to us to the night dives, with the lights accumulated, the Manta Rays just enjoy the abundance of food, and quite often they do these barrel rolls or rolling in front of us, or just go in figure eights, come pretty close to lights because the light is where the food is. And yeah, this is the footage of normal behavior. Just this was in February 15th. I just want to, oops, I'm sorry about that. Just want to play this one more time. Doesn't work. Okay, here we go. And so this was, I just want to establish real quick, this was February 15th, 2015. Manta Ray was just fine, doing good, and there was no injury on her, and she was doing her barrel rolls. Now, I want to switch to the next footage, and we are 10 days later, and unfortunately this is going to be a little bit cruel for you guys, but this is the real thing. This is how Manta Ray was injured. And you see his really, really deep gash inside her, on her wing, on her right wing. Now, I show you this footage definitely for how behavior has changed. Now, check out how slow she goes. She's still around my lights. It's really bright lights. There should be food. She's not feeding. Her mouth is closed. And she's trying to, maneuver as she usually does. But if you ask me, I think here she is not only visually injured, but I believe that she feels pain, and she just knows she cannot move. She wants to move normally, but she just cannot move. And yeah, so this was the entry question. Do Manta Rays feel pain? I think I make my case right away that yes, Manta Rays feel pain. And when you see normal behavior too, just how she moves now. And she's trying to make it work like animals do, you know, they keep going. But she's definitely behaving differently. And from there, that's the end of the clip. I want to go to the next picture, and I have some close-ups of these injuries Not pretty, but brace yourself a little bit, but that's the way it goes. So here's the injury on her right wing, pretty deep. Question is always, how does that happen? I'm going to get to this here in a second. Then the next one is a picture on the same night. So we took the pictures on the same night, February 25th. Oops, too fast. Sorry. So a little more of a close-up, same night. You can see Jean Lafferty is here. Hey, Jean, how are you doing? Thanks for coming today. So the injury is, very red. And then the next one I want to show you is how deep it is and how wide the wing actually is here. So you can actually see, really bad injury. We cannot say that any differently. Now we're going to jump a little bit. About 7 days later, thanks for the shaka, Jean. Thank you. March 3rd, so it's about 7 days later. I'm not sure if that was a leap year or not, but it's like 7 days later. You can see it's still super red. Nothing has changed for her. Behavior-wise, she was just still going slowly around us. But she showed up. I mean, this is actually a good sign. She was still around the campfire, these lights that we put out. And maybe you see a little bit of healing here around the wound. And now I'm jumping to the end of the month. And nice surprise, check this out, how actually the wound is healed up just around here. The depth, of course, it didn't heal back together. It just stays the same depth of it. But definitely the wound is healing. So this took now 4 weeks since the original injury. And now I'm jumping quite a bit to 6 months later, to September. And you cannot see any red anymore. The depth of the wound is there, but there's no redness to it. And same thing. It was all taken at the same time, September 9th. And so that's how she looks like today. 6 years later, she's still going strong. We don't see her as we used to do. In the years 2012, 13, 14, we saw her a lot at night. But in the last few years, the last 2 years, we haven't seen. She has maybe changed her behavior and where she feeds these days. Yeah, so I'm going to switch over real quick. I want to show you what maybe could have caused this. Let me just switch over. Thank you. Thank you. I have some props here and want to show you some fishing line that we've taken out of Manta Rays. And this is just a pretty thin line. I don't think that was the cause for the injury. This is one of the lines we had. I do believe that this all was man-made stuff. Carrie is here too. Thank you, Carrie. I see you tomorrow night. Can't wait. And then next prop I have is a little thicker fishing line. It's goes like this. And this is all stuff we've taken out of Manta Rays over the years. Now this line is a little thicker. It's like I don't think it was the injury for Melena, but just give you an idea what these mammals have to deal with. And there's one more. That's a small one, but just check out how much line we have here. I think that's incredible. What these guys, this is from line when the fishermen come from shore and they just throw their hooks in, and then the Manta Rays just get hooked and just takes off, and then the line just throws out. And this, I don't really know what happened to Melena, but I want to show you a hook that we took out. Now take this. This is out of Vicky Ray. That was an incredible encounter. I have footage of that too, but I'm not going to play it today. But and Manta Ray, maybe it was more of a fishing line just really going in and cutting it through. Maybe it was propeller. We don't know. We don't really know. I just want to give you some props and what it could have been. The discussions are still out. What happened to Melena? And Michelle is here too. It's quite a party today. I like it. Thank you. Thanks for being here. All right. So this is all about Manta Ray and how she got injured and how she healed up. And I have another example for you. I'm going to switch back over to the footage. So and go to the next Manta Ray. And his name is Hans. And you have some footage of Hans Ray. That is July 11th, 2014. It was the first night we saw him, and you will see here on his cephalic fin something is really, really wrong. And he has, behavior-wise, he used to be like all the other Manta Rays, just swim around. But in this case, he's just really jerking around, and on the outskirts, he just doesn't want to come close and is not very happy, So it's just making a loop into the side and then immediately goes back out. And I wasn't out that night. I didn't see him again that night. Now, lucky for us, he came back this next night. I'm going to go to the next clip. Just July 13th, 2 nights later. And several dive masters have tried to rescue him during the 13th, on the night of the 13th. There was Jordan Davis was there, and then also Jeff Melaison was there. And I caught Jeff Melaison when he actually takes the hook out of him. So Hans Ray comes in and he thinks he wants to feed for sure. And here Jeff is going to reach out and takes the hook out that cut down his cephalic fin so badly. Was really gentle, super rescue from him. And you can see the hook, not too big, but you know, so much damage to the animal. Just I want to play that again for you guys. It's so cool how he gently removes the hook. Good job, Jeff. We've rescued many manta rays over the years, obviously with all the lines, but this was definitely a good, gentle approach. So proud of our community to always do the right thing and trying to fix things for these animals. Now that's July 13th, and then I think the next clip is the same night, and then after the hook came out, Hans Ray came really close to my camera. Another cool picture, but you see how damaged this cephalic fin is, Joe. See how deep the gash is here? And the cephalic fin almost has no use to it anymore. The left side is okay. The other side is just so deeply cut down. I'm actually going to show you that again. How deep it cut, because I have a really nice surprise for you guys. With the next clip, I always try to make this a happy thing. Also look at the back of his body. There was a fishing line. He was really wrapped into the fishing line. And then there was some damage here also on the bottom right here. Alrighty, so July, and now we're going back into September. And September 18th, you won't believe what you will see. This is the same manta ray. Look at this cephalic fin. It's actually healed back together. I think this is just unbelievable how you would have to look for this area here. This is what was injured. Also the back healed back together. So this was from July, that's him again, from July, August, September, that's in a 2-month period, he healed up this much. So still his cephalic fin is not totally usable, but the process, I mean, the healing part of this, I think it's incredible. And if you all agree, give me a thumbs up or something like this, but I want to show you the good news here again. This manta ray is just so lucky that it had these healing powers, and I think I rest my case. I do believe manta rays feel pain, they behave differently, and all the years I've seen this when they came in, also with the hooks, they were just always like, we don't like it. And Melena Ray recovered, took about 6 months to be fully recovered, and Hans Ray healed about 2 or 3 months. So yeah, I think this is pretty cool stuff, and I love my mantas, and I know you love them too. Anyway, so I'm going to switch back over. I think that's for my presentation. Yeah, that's the end of the presentation. So yeah, and that's my case. Do manta rays feel pain? I do believe they feel pain. Check out the footage if you start a little bit later into this Facebook Live, and thanks for being here. And if you want to watch the recap, of course, this is all good stuff to watch. Now, when I prepared for this Facebook Live, I wanted to talk about the manta rays and the healing powers. And then Michelle created I have an outline, you know, I have to be structured. That's what my teacher Tracy tells me all the time. But then she came up that how do manta rays heal people? And I mean, I could make another Facebook Live and bring you many, many stories. But I do believe when you see manta rays in their natural environment, there's so much that goes on in you, including myself. When I did it the very first time in '98, I was in a really sad chapter of my life. I saw these manta rays, so something clicked in my head. But I do want to not talk about me tonight. I just wanted to show you this email. Her name is Elika, and she came out in September. She snorkeled with the manta rays here. I took her out with Michelle, and she sent me a whole long email that how much it was a profound touching her. And I thought it was really interesting and want to share it with you, a few words of her. Where she said, the Moonlight Manta with Martina and Michelle and the manta rays were definitely a highlight of our trip. We have many people saying seeing the manta rays at night is the highlight of their trip. And she works in Silicon Valley. She has a startup company, and we talked about it briefly, and she was really nervous at night when we went out, but she enjoyed it so much that she was just glowing, like everybody actually glows, but she stuck out because of this email. You know, she knows that she needs to connect back to nature. She said Silicon Valley and all this environment, so competitive, and you know, the basic, just trying to be compassionate with people, and even in business you can be compassionate and be fair, but Silicon Valley doesn't really have that environment, and so she's so happy that she came to Hawaii, and she knew that she wants to rest here and recover and refuel. But seeing the Manta Rays just really gave her a push, and she actually ends this email that maybe they can move to Hawaii. Silicon Valley is just a temporary home for her. Maybe one day she comes to Hawaii and can settle here. And I do wish that. I do wish that many people have the ability to at least come to Hawaii and see what's going on, and maybe change their behavior and be more compassionate for animals and to each other. I mean, that's what the world needs. And I know Carrie did it before, Tara did it before, Jean, Michelle, you've all seen the Manta Rays before. Leave a comment down below and tell us in a few words just how profound it changed your life and seeing the Manta Rays in their natural environment. And that's my call to action for today. If you have any good stories to share with us, if you've seen Manta Rays before, if you want to see them, leave a comment in the comment section. Give me a Facebook like. I love to connect with everybody. And that's my story for today. I'll see you again next week, Wednesday. Thanks, Jean. Thanks, big mahalo. Yeah, mahalo, by the way, for everybody who doesn't know that, means thank you. And I appreciate that as well. So I see you again next week. Give me a like, give me a share. Talk about Manta Rays, how they touched your life. And see you later. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.